Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tomás Guerrero. I'm the director of the Halal Trade and Marketing Center here in Dubai. Today, I will be conducting the full webinar. So, welcome to this virtual event organized by the Thessaloniki Chamber of Commerce in collaboration with the Halal Trade and Marketing Center. Let's start our session giving the floor to the first Vice President of the Thessaloniki Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Vlachogyannis. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. My name is Emmanuήλ Βλαχογιάννης. I'm currently the first Vice President of the Thessaloniki Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I want to welcome all of you in this webinar. I have to thank Abdur Rahim from Dubai Airport Free Zone, Tomás Guerrero from Halal Trade and Marketing Services, and then of course Tomás Vassaras from Greek Exports, and all the participants, the panelists and the participants for joining us today to this very important seminar, which is in fact one of the outcomes that mark the cooperation between Thessaloniki Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Dubai Airport Free Zone. I had the opportunity to meet Abdur Rahim during the fair of Thessaloniki in September. Then we had a part of discussions mainly conducted via the exchange of emails and also to some degree with an online meeting. Then we had agreed to conduct a webinar in order to introduce Greek exporters to the specificities of halal, which is one of the prerequisites for some sectors in order to enter Muslim-dominated countries. And as our chamber is dedicated not only to broadcast is a very useful information for members, but also dedicated to promote trade between countries and foreign countries and Greece. We have accepted this proposition, and we have worked for a couple of weeks to organize this webinar. And I'm grateful to all of you who are contributing to the success of this webinar, and of course to Mr. Abdur Rahim from Dubai Airport Free Zone, and to Mr. Tomás Guerrero from Halal Trade Marketing Center. Then, of course, to Mr. Tomás Vassaras. I hope that our audience will find this webinar very useful, and I ask our partner, our members of the chamber, to follow exactly what will be broadcasted when these companies will try to export into Muslim countries. Halal trade is, by definition, is a very important issue, and we shall follow all the prerequisites, all the necessities that are linked with under the umbrella of halal trade to be successful in our endeavors to enter these markets. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll pass the word back to Tomás Guerrero.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vlachonianis, for your kind introduction, for your welcome remarks. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Abdur Rahim Nabi, the Chief Advisor to Director General of the Dubai Airport Free Zone, to take the floor and give us a brief presentation about Dubai as a global trade hub for halal certified companies. Abdur Rahim, please, the floor is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here today with all of you as a part of this very exciting webinar. I would like to offer my sincere gratitude and thanks, to all the participants of the webinar. His Excellency Ron and the Thessaloniki Chamber of Commerce specifically. It's very nice, as Your Excellency mentioned, to be here today after having the interactions with Greece. Indeed, a very lovely country, and it's very good to see that we are activating some initiatives, with the Chamber of Commerce, which is a very important player when it comes to overall Greece, as well as activating the halal trade pillar. I would just like to briefly start with this note of thanks to all the panelists and as well as all the audience. And then I'm very happy to be here representing Dubai Airport Free Zone and sharing some relevant thoughts about the future of the halal industry and the new market opportunities for Greek companies. Let me give you a brief overview about the flow of my presentation today. We begin with a broader overview in terms of the wider global halal economy opportunity. Then we talk a bit about Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, and the growing trade relationships between the United Arab Emirates and Greece are evident to everybody, as well as some of its competitive strengths. We delve a little bit more into the Dubai's vision of becoming the capital of the Islamic economy, and specifically look at global diverse case studies out of Dubai that have been successful and demonstrate a lot of success, and how this actually would present an opportunity for Greek companies. Lastly, we would jump into Dubai and how it creates a trade and investment opportunity by lying at the intersection of trade flows between the East and the West. Again, giving a bit of a context as to the organization and the Dubai government entity that I represent. Dubai Airport Free Zone primarily is a business park. It was established in the year 1996 as a part of Dubai government strategy to become an investment-driven economy. We are a part of an umbrella organization which is called Dubai Integrated Economic Zones. Basically, we facilitate international businesses and investors to set up their companies in Dubai and use Dubai's connectivity to increase their international sales, to expand globally and expand geographically. We have more than 2,400 companies operating out of our special economic zone or our business park. And we are industry agnostic. We have 20 different industry sectors represented, food, pharma, cosmetics, engineering, electronics, aviation, jewelry, diamonds, a lot of different industries. And we have more than 19,000 people working with our investors. Our role as the Dubai government entity is to facilitate the ecosystem and the environment for companies to set up their entities in Dubai and then grow their businesses. Our companies collectively contribute more than AED 164 billion, that is approximately US $55 billion annually to Dubai's non-oil GDP in terms of trade. In essence, we are a one-stop shop for international investors, providing them with the working space, the licensing, as well as the services they need to establish their businesses. Going more and looking at the importance of the halal economy overall globally, it's important for the audience to get this global overview in terms of the different industry sectors, as well as the definition of what is considered to be Islamic or halal. Before I go into the definition, I would like to reiterate that the Islamic economy is not meant for the Muslims. It's a global value proposition. It's meant for the greater good of larger populations. And hence, starting with the definition, the Islamic economy, as you can see on your screens, represents sectors whose core products and services are structurally affected by Islamic values, driven consumer lifestyle and business practices. What does this mean? For example, in the case of food has to be halal compliant for Muslim consumers to be able to consume them in the 57 Muslim majority countries. And in case of finance, for example, in case of lending, borrowing, or investments, it has to be Sharia compliant. And in the case of fashion, principles of modesty are applied across that vertical. If you look at the 6 core industry sectors, excluding Islamic finance, right? So let's try and look at this by excluding Islamic finance and look at more trade-related segments, which you can see on your screens. Collectively, these sectors represent approximately $2 trillion in terms of Muslim spending. And from a growth perspective, also are very, very significant. They represent a CAGR of approximately 7.5% per annum. And to top this, also keep in your mind that the OIC growth as compared to the global segments is much higher always, again illustrating more opportunities that exist for international companies to tap into. A little bit about Dubai. I've had the pleasure of being born and brought up in Dubai and lived here all my life. So as you're aware, that the United Arab Emirates is the Middle East main business hub, and it has a very friendly business environment and a stable political environment. In terms of key metrics, macroeconomic stability, ICT adoption, ease of doing business, for example, in terms of talent attraction, in terms of innovation, all of it's always happening in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. There is a continuous drive by the leadership to stay at the top of the tables, because we understand the need and how important it is for international investors to be able to easily transact their businesses through Dubai. Coming to the context of the Islamic economy and the relevance of Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, within a 2-hour flight radius, Dubai has a reach of more than US dollars 578 billion worth of consumer spending. And if we include the larger OIC country markets, an additional opportunity of $296 billion can be added in terms of related import opportunities. Generally, the OIC countries and those in the MENA region, there is a high import dependency in terms of food products, and all of these products obviously need to be halal compliant. And this is one of the core reasons as to why Dubai is an anchor and has a major role to play when it comes to halal trade. So lying right at the center of the world, as I would say it, and then having the connectivity by air, sea, and road. Again, in the year 2013, a lot of things in Dubai are driven by the vision of the high leadership that we have. And in year 2013, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who's the UAE Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, designated Islamic economy to be actually a mainstream pillar of the Dubai's economy. And in terms of the vision here, there are 3 pillars, primarily focusing on Islamic finance, halal industry. Within the halal industry, we obviously have food, pharma, and cosmetics included in some format. And then we have Islamic lifestyle. And these are supported by horizontal pillars, such as Islamic knowledge, Islamic standards, and the digital space that cut across all these vertical pillars. So generally what happens is that in order to achieve this vision and to make this into a reality, the government of Dubai engages many stakeholders in this space. And the stakeholders that we have within our ecosystem, they're quite mature, they're quite advanced when it comes to supporting the halal ecosystem. And obviously the stakeholders are extremely active in terms of supporting the Islamic economy. I won't go through all of them, but I would just briefly talk about the Dubai Airport Free Zone. The free zone, we are one of the free zones who have taken lead in terms of enabling the halal ecosystem. And we have developed our own Islamic economy strategy, as well as we have launched the first of its kind halal guidebook, which has been translated globally into many different languages and become a success for in terms of research inputs to industry participants. And we have also been very proudly associated with the launch of the Halal Trade and Marketing Center, which aspires to become a leading global business development center that is led by my colleague over there, Mr. Thomas Guerrero. We have achieved a lot. The center has achieved a lot, and I'm very proud to be associated with the center. And also, finally, the UAE's halal compliance ecosystem players, from the likes of ESMA or IAC or INAS, or the International Halal Accreditation Forum that tries to create reciprocity between global brands, is becoming extremely important. So you can see that there are a lot of initiatives, and the ecosystem is quite robust and complete. I would like to briefly talk about some of the success cases, companies from all over the world who have come to Dubai and then experienced success, especially by tapping into the halal space. On your screens now, you can see the case of the Hershey's company. They're based out of the Dubai Airport Free Zone, established in 1984, basically into chocolates and a lot of other similar products, selling their products to over more than 70 countries around the world. And their Middle East office is based out of Dabza, Dubai Airport Free Zone. And you can see that they have certified their product lines through different certification bodies and standard setting bodies in the US, such as the FUNCL and other entities, enabling them to export to the different markets through the Middle East. Another case is that of Abdur Pharmaceuticals, again, a leading company based out of the Dubai Airport Free Zone. Even though in the case of when it comes to pharmaceuticals, halal is not mandatory. It is mandatory in certain Asian markets, such as Malaysia and Indonesia. However, you can see, depending, given the needs of the customers and the knowledge that they comprehend, when they get to know that there are companies who are halal certified, they would prefer the halal options versus the non-halal options because of religious connotations. Abbott has adopted also FUNCA standards, and they use this actually as a tool to market their products globally to the OIC countries. So, it becomes a big touch point and addition to that space as such. So it's not only about getting certification and compliance, it's about being wholesome, it's about being governed through processes that are complete and that benefit mankind at large. I would like to briefly also talk about and sort of somehow relate this to Greece. I visited Greece, a couple of months back and had the pleasure of meeting so many people and such a rich culture, such a diverse country, with so much activity going on. It was an honor and a pleasure to be there. I learned a lot about some of the companies which were there, as well as the great work that is being done by the chambers over there. And so if you look at the space, and I'm sure that we have a diverse audience joining this panel discussion and this webinar. Hence, if you look at the space of food, cosmetics, pharma, or fashion, you will see that there is, there are clearly massive companies, strong companies, whether they be larger companies or multinational companies, or even if they're SMEs that have a clear case for internationalization. And tapping into the halal industry and growing their international reach, as well as their sales and their pipelines. In the case of F&B, for example, we have Condito, the production company founded in 1979 in Thessaloniki. It is one of the leading food companies when it comes to mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, and so on and so forth. Again, something which is very largely consumed in the United Arab Emirates, the MENA region, and the OIC countries. Because we really don't have the production capability as such as we would like it. There is a lot of emphasis now on food sustainability and security. Things are kicking in. However, having these items present within the country or across the countries or intermarket are extremely important. Also, the Apvita in cosmetics, they're a pioneering Greek company that has been producing innovative natural cosmetics again since 1979. Long histories here associated with the companies that show their power and their might. Another example is that of Venex in the case of pharmaceuticals, founded again in 1971, has been involved in pharmaceutical industry since 1924. The company produces, a number of large number of pharmaceutical coverings, in the case, especially aiding the therapeutic diseases and the classes as such. Milk White, I would lastly like to point out, in case of fashion also, a Greek fashion brand from the Athens based on, launched again in 2015. And again, imagine a state where these fashion brands could adopt the elements of modesty that are accustomed, or I would say a little bit tuned to the Islamic consumers. It would be a huge ad, yeah. And you will see the Islamic economy in the coming slides in terms of the opportunity it provides. Overall, if you recall, I did talk about the 200 and, there is a huge import dependency when it comes to the OIC markets. The 57 OIC countries they have a huge dependency here in all the sectors that you can see on your screens. And, the Muslim population, is growing at a very large trajectory. There are differing numbers that come across. However, I think projected in the next couple of years to go to 2.4 trillion. Again, this by itself creates a demand, because the larger the population and the larger their fundamentally affected values, the demand is just there. I always give this example. Sometimes I like to give this example when I travel across the world, and I have a very big family, and we have this culture of gift giving, and I always need to bring gifts for these 15-20 families that I have here. So when I'm in the foreign market, the only thing that I look at in terms of buying, the easiest thing to buy is some kind of domestic chocolates or delicacy or sweets. So I just look at I go and I search for the halal mark, and I spent around 1,500-2,000 euros just on buying something which I get the halal mark, because I know the consumers, in the case of food, when it comes to food, it's so important for them. And just imagine, I'm only searching for this. So imagine if you have consumers like me in your country, then we would be buying a lot of things if you had the halal certification and compliance in place. And I do this, and Tomas I've had the opportunity of traveling with Tomas on a lot of government missions, and he'll be testament to this fact that I've done this almost in all parts of the world. I haven't left any country, including Japan, trying to source something when I come back. So this is I wanted to give my live experience as to how important it is. And I love it. I'm so fascinated with the product lines when I come to the foreign countries, when it comes to fashion, or when it comes to even medicine, and especially food, trying to bring something from outside that doesn't exist here, and the process and the purity in the products, as well as the quality, the packaging is just amazing. Something that we all as consumers would like to see more of. If you recall, I did talk about different sectors in the initial part of the presentation that cut across the halal trade as such. I won't want to go into all of them, but if I just would like to briefly show you the halal food and the opportunity it represents, you can see on your screen. It doesn't make sense to go into all the different sectors. However, the greatest chunk of opportunity lies when it comes to food. There is a $212 billion opportunity and FMB imports into OIC markets, it's 18% of the global share. It's really a huge number if you look at it. And then we can also see in terms of the import and exports that specifically, go through Dubai. You can see that UAE, these statistics, they keep continuously evolving. Obviously, the presentations will be shared with the audience. However, in terms of the United Arab Emirates, in terms of imports, it stood at $16.6 billion. And that is massive as well, given the population of only 10 million people. So, given that Dubai's connectivity as a trade hub when it comes to Emirates Airline, or when it comes to the seaports and so on and so forth, it's quite clear that a lot of the food that gets imported gets re-exported to different neighboring markets, either by land or by sea or by air. And then this is again something that Greek companies can use as a hub to grow their businesses and expand their presence. I would really love to see, I was very humbled to meet the people from Greece. I really enjoyed interacting with them and being with them. And it would be really great to see how we can have more companies from Greece using Dubai as a hub, not only to supply to the OIC and the Asian markets, but also beyond, as well as the markets that surround the United Arab Emirates, and how we, as Dubai Airport Free Zone, can help you with our ecosystem partners, with the ecosystem that we have, and our connectivity to help you grow your business. In the interest of time, I am very conscious of the time of the audience, as well as the panelists and the other seniors who are attending the webinar. With this, I would like to sort of conclude my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. It was very brief, and I tried to keep it as sharp as possible. And with this, I would like to pass the floor again to my colleague, Mr. Thomas Guerrero, who's the moderator, and wish you all a very enriching and insightful panel discussions. And I hope I do get the opportunity to host you in Dubai, as well as at Dubai Airport Free Zone. And I thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdur Rahim, for your inspiring presentation. Now I will do the same. I will share my screen with all of you in order to also give you a quick presentation about the global halal market. So now we will go through the key trends and the opportunities in this fast-growing business niche. So let's start the presentation defining what halal means. Halal is an Arabic term meaning lawful as per the Islamic law. Abdur Rahim already said, so the halal economy sectors are those affected by the Islamic law, such as food that must be halal, finance that must be Sharia compliance, or fashion that must be modest. Well, once we have a clear idea about the meaning of halal, it's also relevant to highlight that the halal market is a regulated one. We already have a halal legal framework in place for regulating this fast-growing business niche in the Muslim majority countries. From the regulation point of view, it's important to say that we have three types of organizations in charge of ruling this market. First of all, in the Muslim majority countries, we have the halal standardization bodies. They are the ones in charge of setting up the standard. They are the ones in charge of regulating this market in their home countries. They are the ones coming with the requirements for those companies looking for producing halal goods. Then also in the Muslim majority countries, we have the halal accreditation bodies. These entities or organizations are in charge of auditing the halal certification bodies. They are the ones checking the technical and religious capabilities of the certifiers, the halal certification bodies inside their countries as well as outside their home countries abroad. So they are the ones providing the certifiers with the accreditations, with the recognitions, empowering them or allowing them after getting those accreditations or recognitions to be able to audit and certify companies according to the halal standards in their countries of these halal accreditation bodies. And finally, we have the certifiers, the halal certification bodies, the ones in charge of auditing the companies, the ones checking the facilities of the companies in order to see if the companies have or not the, let's say, capabilities for producing goods or delivering services according to the existing halal standards. Okay, so basically this is the halal legal framework that we have for the halal market in the Muslim majority countries. As you can see, we don't have a global halal standard. We have different rules, we have different standards for regulating the same market. So there is a fragmentation from the regulation point of view. And that fragmentation is making sometimes this market a bit complex, especially for the companies coming from non-Muslim majority countries, by the way, where the largest producers are based. So for companies in non-Muslim majority countries, the halal compliance process is becoming a bit tough. So, for example, for the UAE, we have, as you can see here in this slide, different types of bodies in charge of regulating this market. As you can see here, from the standardization point of view, we have different bodies, different standardization bodies coming with rules or standards for regulating the halal market in the UAE. Here inside the country, we have one halal standardization body, ESMA. ESMA is the one providing the country with the halal standards, but because the UAE is part of the GCC countries, we also have in place the standards, the halal ones coming from the GCC standardization organization, the GCO ones, and finally, because the UAE is also part of the OIC, we also have in place the halal standards coming from SMIC, the halal standardization body of the OIC. But at the end of the day, for companies, the applicable ones are the ones coming from ESMA. But we are also recognizing and accepting the halal standards coming from GCO and SMIC. But as you can see, we don't have, from the regulation point of view or from the standardization point of view, a clear framework. Then from the accreditation perspective, we have a similar, let's say, problem. Why? Because here inside the UAE, we have two halal accreditation bodies. We have AAC, the Emirates International Accreditation Center, here in Dubai. And we also have ENAS, Emirates National Accreditation System in Abu Dhabi. Both have the power to provide the halal accreditation to the certifiers abroad, looking for having the, let's say, authority to issue halal certification for the companies looking for exporting their products to the UAE. But we also have, from the regional point of view, and also in the accreditation space, GAC, the GCC accreditation body. So here in the UAE, we are also accepting the halal certification coming from the certifiers, recognized or with the accreditation coming from GAC. Okay, so because the UAE, as I said, is part of GCC, from the accreditation point of view, we are also, as you can see, accepting and recognizing GAC authority, the GCC accreditation center authority in the accreditation space. And finally, we have the certifiers. We already have more than 400 halal certification bodies across the world, but only a small group of certifiers are recognized by our halal authorities here in the UAE or by GAC from the GCC perspective. As you can see here, in Greece, we have 3 halal certification bodies with the accreditations coming from EAC, ENAS, or GAC. And finally, we also have a halal national brand. As you can see also here in this slide, is coming from ESMA, and the companies looking for promoting their halal products, they can use this halal logo from ESMA to do that. Well, once we have also, let's say, a clear idea about the halal legal framework, it's also interesting to see or go through the drivers or factors helping the halal market to grow. So now we will see 3 factors behind the success of the 3 factors behind the success of the global halal market. When we look at the halal market, we find 3 drivers. First of all, we have a demographic dividend. As you can see here, we have a large and fast-growing Muslim population. According to the latest estimation, we have 1.9 billion Muslim people living in our world, representing approximately the 25–26% of the total population. So according to the same studies, in 2030, as you can see here, this segment of population will be reaching 2.2 million people. So we will be having in 2030 2.2 Muslim population. Okay, so as I said, we have a large, young, and fast-growing population, and this is the first factor or driver boosting the halal market. Then we have a second factor, the one related to the growth of the Muslim majority countries. When we look at the 57 Muslim majority countries, we are finding emerging economies. We are finding economies who are dynamic from the economic point of view. And as you can see here, many of them are growing so fast and leading the economic growth worldwide, since they are growing in average above of the global GDP growth. And finally, and as a result of this second factor or driver, we have a third one related to the emerging of Muslim middle classes. So as a result of the economic growth of the Muslim majority countries, we can find now, we can see how this economic growth in the Muslim majority countries is empowering the Muslim population. So the Muslim consumers are becoming to be very good clients, since they are getting higher buying power with the time. When we already saw the drivers, the 3 ones behind the success of the halal market, and now we will go through an overview to see the halal related sector. Obviously, here we will be putting the focus on the F&B products, but it's also good to share with the attendees this slide with all the halal related sector. As you can see here, we have the opportunities beyond the F&B space. We have also other halal related sector where the Greek companies can find very good opportunities, such as cosmetic or pharma. In those other halal related sectors, I'm sure the Greek companies can also find good business opportunities. But as I said, today we are here for talking about the halal F&B market. So here we have the estimation for this halal related sector, the F&B one. As you can see, in 2021, this halal related sector was close to $1.2 trillion. And in this new slide, it's almost the same. We can also see the estimations from the same halal-related sectors in 2025. Okay, so thinking about the F&B sector, the halal one, we can see that this halal-related business niche will be moving from the $1.2 trillion in 2021 to $1.6 trillion in 2025. So this sector will be growing a lot, as you can see. But if you have the numbers from the previous slide still in mind, you will see that we have the same experience, or we will be having the same situation with the remaining halal-related sector. So all of them, we will be continuing growing a lot. Why? Because of the macro drivers that we already saw before, the three ones. And now, before finalizing the presentation, I would like to share with you some points and dedicated one to the related to the halal F&B sector. Let's start also with an overview. We already saw this, but it's also good to say again. In 2021, as you can see here in this slide, the Muslim population spent $1.2 trillion on F&B products. According to the latest estimations, we can say that from that number, from that volume, $1 trillion was dedicated to buy F&B products under the halal certification. So I want to use this slide not only to repeat almost the same. I would like to say that, I would like to share with you something that many companies in Europe don't know. If we compare the expenditure made by the Muslim population on halal and F&B products, we compare, as I said, this volume of this number with the consumption made by the national of countries such as China, US, or Russia, we can see, or we will be finding that we are talking about the second largest F&B market in our world. And sometimes, as I said, this is not clear, or this is an unknown thing for many companies in Europe. Well, here we can see a ranking with the largest consumers of halal F&B products. As you can see here, we have a ranking with the consumption of the nationals of many Muslim majority countries. Indonesia is leading the ranking. It's clear that there is, let's say, relationship between the population of these countries and the consumption made by the national of the same. But I'm using this ranking not to highlight the consumption of the Muslim majority countries. I'm using this ranking to highlight here the presence of some non-Muslim majority countries, such as Germany, US, France, or Russia, where obviously we can find a growing Muslim population. We have some non-Muslim majority countries where the Muslim population is growing, is significant. So as you can see here, we can find also opportunities in these other countries, in the non-Muslim majority ones. Why? Because the Muslim population is growing, and they are obviously also demanding and consuming halal F&B products. So when we think about the halal market opportunities, we can maybe start, or we can think about the opportunities of the window in countries in Europe, such as UK, France, or Germany, where the Muslim population, as I said, is growing, and they are demanding and consuming halal F&B products. We already saw enough arguments to believe in the power of the halal F&B market, but there is another big reason to think twice about this amazing opportunity. We saw, as I said, big factors, but there is another one to make you believe in the power of the halal market. When we look at the halal market and we go through the Muslim majority countries from the F&B perspective, we can see that many of the Muslim majority countries, especially those in North Africa and Middle East, are net importers of F&B products. So basically, in this part of the world, we are importing almost everything. We are importing around the 85% of the F&B product that we are consuming. So there is a big gap. Why? Because these countries basically are importing almost everything. And why not to think about the Greek companies? You have there a strong F&B producer. Greece is a powerhouse in terms of producing F&B products. So why not to develop the strategies there to help the Greek companies to get the halal certification, and then help them also to connect with the buyers, with importers, distributors, and retailers in these Muslim majority countries here in the GCC or in the Middle East, MENA region, where we are importing almost everything. It's clear that Greek companies could become an important supplier for F&B products in this part of the world. I will be finalizing the presentation, giving you also a case in order to explain a bit more about this dependency. Here, as you can see, we have, let's say, we have two rankings, we have two charts. First of all, we have one chart with the meat imports for the GCC country. As you can see, the GCC countries are importing almost everything. The 90% of the lamb and beef meat is coming from abroad. So the Muslim majority countries in this part of the world are mobilizing huge volumes of money to import meat. We have that here in the first chart. But the interesting thing is the second one, because the first one, which was almost clear and it's a bit obvious, but when we go through the second one and we check the key or main meat exporters, for example, to the UAE, we can see that the main exporters are located in non-Muslim majority countries. So the meat is coming from countries such as Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, USA. Why not to think about Greece as a meat producer for the UAE or for other countries in the region? And we have the same situation with other categories, with dairy, with processed food. So we can replicate, let's say, the same exercise for other F&B items. And as I said, Greece is a powerhouse in terms of producing F&B. So it's clear that you have an amazing opportunity in this part of the world, and we will be more than happy to help you to capitalize on all those opportunities. Thank you so much for your time. Let's now continue with the webinar. Now it's the time to give the floor to Mr. Thomas Vasaras. He's the CEO of Greek Export, also the area manager for different certifications. And please, Mr. Vasaras, the floor is yours for delivering the presentation about the halal trade with the UAE opportunities and trends.
Thank you, Thomas. So I would firstly like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to get part in this very important event. UAE is one of the major markets in GCC, and as we Greeks are tradespeople, we have already found ways to do business there. From constructions down to special products like fur products, you will find many companies of Greek origin and interest working there, as you will find more than 10,000 Greeks working there and succeeding in many sectors of the country's economy. My name is Thomas Vassaras. I am CEO of Greek Expos. That's an export consulting company. And I've been visiting Dubai since 2006, when the city was under construction, when the whole city was under construction. Talking about construction, this building symbolizes the future as it hosts a future museum of Dubai. Unfortunately, it was closed last year, but I hope that this year will be open so that we can visit it. But future comes by only with human effort and ingenuity. Here you see that on the top corner, a constructor just hanging from the massive building trying to fix something. My presentation focuses on how to bridge the needs of the futuristic UAE and GCC area with a traditional but also innovative food sector of Greece. And the bridge is called Halal. In very short, we will see what it means, what the requirements are for halal trade, and where the opportunities and threats lie for producers located in Greece and more specifically in Central Macedonia that we are based. But before that, we need to have a small glimpse of the global Islamic economy. Abdur Rahim and also Thomas discussed about that. As you see here, the halal food is a king in the halal economy. But cosmetics and tourism are also two sectors that we Greeks should give some more focus as well. Now, GCC area is one of the most important hubs for halal trade, and UAE is just one of the two major players in the area. I believe most of you really know what halal means. In essence, one needs to avoid what is forbidden, in short, pigs, alcohol, insects, not properly slaughtered animals, and combinations of the above, that all of those are forbidden. Halal rules have been recorded into standards in many countries of the world that those standards are not always identical to each other, although they all follow the basic reference text that is, of course, Quran. In GCC area, the GSO standards apply, and there are two main standards related to food: 993 that covers the animal slaughtering, and 2055 Part 1 that covers food production. In 993, we have already a new standard with important changes that has not been implemented yet, though. Now, a company can seek certification according to those standards, not because it's mandatory. It is mandatory basically only in meat, and it will be in some other sectors like dairy soon. But also because it provides you with an important competitive advantage to expand in this area. It's like a passport to exports. But be careful though, not all halal certification bodies can give you certificates that will be accepted in UAE and other GCC countries. Only accredited bodies will be accepted. And accreditation is given for certain categories of products and not for everything at once. As we went through the procedure of accreditation 2021, I can tell you it's not an easy task. Now, if you get a certificate from an accredited body, then you can use a halal claim on the packaging of the specific product that are certified. But be careful again, as not all halal marks are accepted. This is a topic where UAE differs from Saudi Arabia and has its own national halal mark that you have to buy from local authorities in UAE, and you see it on your screen. But the use of the generic halal mark is also accepted in both countries, I mean UAE and Saudi Arabia, if you are certified by an accredited body. Okay, you see that it has some difficulties, but does it worth it? That will be the next question. Focusing on UAE, we see that in reality it's a small country in terms of population. It's not much different than Greece, in fact. but with a much, much bigger economy. Only 12% of the population my camera, I don't know, switches off when it wants to, but never mind, I'll switch it on always. So I was saying that only 12% of the population are actually Emiratis. The rest are from many different nationalities, most of them though from Muslim countries. And very interesting facts, 69% are actually men, which is important in food because don't forget, men eat more. And only 31% women. Equally important to know is that 64% of the population is the age group of 25 to 54, which is basically also the case in Greece. But talking about halal trade, this is not only UAE. It's already mentioned about halal meat. Since it's mandatory, we see here the meat imports categorized in bovine, goat, sheep, and poultry of the 6 countries of GCC area, along with the population. And at the bottom, you can see also the tourists they had in 2019. You see, Saudi Arabia is the other big player in the market, but also all the countries have opportunities, as you can see here, not only because of local population, but also of being tourism destinations. And we can't forget also the football that was going on in Qatar that brought in many tourists, which means many needs for extra products, especially food. Now, in the last column, you can see, just to compare, the exports of meat from Greece to the whole world. Of course, we don't really have a bovine sector, but you can see the exports of Greece in goat, sheep, and poultry. So, as you see, the total exports of Greece in the whole world are substantially lower than the imports of any of those countries, even the smallest ones. Now, there is a real opportunity there, and that opportunity is not only for meat products, it's also for other products that if we make the analysis, we will see similar data. Oops. So, but let's focus a little bit on the region of Macedonia. SEVE did a mapping on the Greek exports per region, so we can see regional data. Now, when comparing Central Macedonia's global exports, and Central Macedonia and Thessaloniki is actually the base of the Chamber of Commerce, we see that food is the main sector. Food accounts for 32% of all exports of the region. Moreover, Central Macedonia is a small part of Greece, but it accounts for 1/4 of the country's exports to UAE, as we see from SEVE's regional data analysis for years from 2017 to 2021. And still, the exports to UAE are only 1.06% of the total exports of the region. Now, combining all those facts together, and the opportunity for food exports from Central Macedonia and Greece in general to UAE becomes even more evident. And since last year, companies have another marketing tool to use the logo of Macedonia on their products. And basically, I have a small intro video that you can see at the same time. I hope you can see it. Now, the logo, well, this logo that you will see now, it was presented in the European Parliament basically last Friday, and will be promoted in many countries of the world as a strategic plan to differentiate the products of the land of Macedonia. And I have numerous events are currently planned, some also with public funding, and will be executed in many areas of the world. I can tell you there are some events planned to be organized in USA and Australia. And I wonder why not also UAE. Some of those events, as I said, will be also with public funding. And also an interesting event is that whoever will be in Thessaloniki by Monday, the 20th of February, so it's in 2 weeks, they could participate in such an event that celebrates the first companies receiving the license to use the logo, with a nice concert of the famous singer Antonis Remos in Thessaloniki concert hall. That will be in 2 weeks' time. As I said, this logo is owned by SEVE, and anyone based in Macedonia and producing products can take part. Now, why do I believe that UAE and GCC in general have good opportunities for Greek producers? So did you know that 70% of food consumed in UAE is imported? Local production is very weak, as it's quite hard to cultivate anything in the desert that surrounds the cities of UAE. Saudi Arabia and the other countries in the area have actually similar import shares. Now, growing tourism from the whole world is also an interesting factor. In UAE, you find all the cuisines of the world, but Greece is poorly represented, and there is room for many more products and restaurants that will be ambassadors of the Greek Mediterranean flavors in the market. As Greeks are adaptive, they have always been, our industry is a very reliable supplier for products that can incorporate the needs of the local importers in quality, branding, and packaging. HTMC has an extensive know-how for the market, and its guidance can be really helpful in understanding the market and finding the right partners. UAE is really a small country, as I said, but its trade figures are equal to much bigger countries. As UAE, for many reasons, like good location, trade liberalism, low taxation, is today an important trade hub for the whole region. And as Halal is important, we have since 2021 the first certification body that is accredited, HAC Greece, and there are others now, as it has been said before. And Dr. Mohammed, the CEO of HAC Greece, would also be in the discussion panel to answer to your relevant questions. Now, my professors in MBA International Business and Export Management always stressed to us, never forget the threats of international trade. One needs to be prepared in a way to overcome them and even use them as advantages, if possible. Now, size is a real threat. You may start cooperation with a major player in the market, but it may be too big for you to handle. Always make it sure that the intended quantities are compatible to your capacity. That's number one. But even more important is that labeling and its special guidelines are also an important threat. Halal labeling included. That's also a problem. There are many cases where things went wrong and custom clearance was refused because of a labeling problem. Currency fluctuation is something that needs also to be considered. But now, as AED is pegged to the dollar, the expected fluctuation against the euro is the same as against the dollar. By my analysis, it was just a range of 17% the last 8 years, which is not much, but with a small exception in the turbulent 6 months in 2022. And that was my last slide. I would like to thank you all for your attention and hope to see you in Gulf Food that takes place in just 2 weeks' time in Dubai. And we will be happy to answer your questions in the discussion panel or directly through my contact details that you can see here. So I pass the floor back to Thomas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vasaras, for your wonderful presentation. Please stay with us because now we have an amazing panel discussion about doing business in the UAE halal market. So I will be, first of all, introducing our speakers for this panel. As I said, Mr. Thomas Vasaras will be with us, along with Mr. Mohammed El Tawab, Certification Manager for Halal Assurance Quality. Then we will be also having Mr. Mohanad Arar, the Sales Managers of Harar Trading here in the UAE. And finally, we will be also having Mr. Aris Basilikos, the Export Area Sales Managers for Condito. So please, open your micro so we can start the panel discussion. I would like to initiate the same, asking Mr. Basaras about the biggest challenges and business opportunities for Greek F&B companies here in the UAE, because this question is connected with the presentation, and maybe you can give us more insights about the challenges as well as about the business opportunities in the UAE halal market for the Greek F&B companies there.
So would you like me to start first on that? You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So regarding, yes, opportunities and threats, this is the most important thing that someone needs to take under consideration when deciding for going into a new country. And deciding into expanding into a new country is actually a whole process that one needs to go through with many steps. One of those steps are opportunities and threats. Now, the most important opportunity for me is the fact that Greeks and the Greek cuisine is something that is recognized in the world as a big player. We've seen like a few months ago a categorization that was from a big pool of people that they basically said they chose their favorite cuisine, and Greek cuisine was, I think, second after the Italian, but very close in this list. So that means that Greek products can actually go everywhere, right? And this is one part of the world where we haven't been yet, at least to the extent that we should. So the opportunity is there because also a lot of people in other countries go through UAE and they can find products in restaurants, etc. As I said in my presentation, when we are in UAE, we don't see a lot of Greek around us, Greek restaurants. So that's number one. Number two is that Mediterranean cuisine and Greek cuisine in particular gets more and more the understanding that it is a healthy way of diet. And this is also known everywhere. So traditional Greek sectors could really succeed in many different countries, many different areas, this GCC area being one of them. And of course, the fact that now the relationship between our areas, the countries in the GCC and Greece are in an extremely good level. And you can see that from how many companies take part in Gulf Food every year. They are like a little less than 100 every year come from Greece and they take part over there. So there is a big potential there. Of course, there are threats. Now, we sometimes tend to diminish them, to think that they are not important, but they are important. Because if you have a shipment that goes down to the customs office and doesn't get cleared because there is a problem on the label or on the ingredients or on the papers, this is a very big problem. It might destroy your business, not only because of the damage, but because you will be damaged on the face of your clients. So these things have to be taken really under consideration. Of course, competition. Someone would say it's a difficult market and the competition is high. Okay, there is no market where there is no difficult and there is not a high competition. All markets are the same. They are very competitive, a lot of competition, and difficult to enter. But you can enter. And in this market, I think the obstacles to enter are fewer than in other markets of the world. Halal was one of them, but we sort this out.
Perfect. So based on your experience helping companies in Greece to do business here in the UAE. Do you think are Greek F&B firms capitalizing on the existing opportunities? Do you see also any chance for the Greek halal meat here in the UAE or in other GCC countries?
Definitely yes, in both questions. Definitely a very big yes, and I'll tell you why. We have a lot of Greek companies producing food products, and many are exporting, right? The exporters are basically ready to export to that area as well. They need to make a few amendments. I'm talking about goods that could be exported like halal, taking also under consideration. Because Greek companies, they are in a very good level. They export a lot to European countries, and European countries are also have also very big standards, strict standards. So Greek companies are to the level that they could export to difficult countries and strict countries like also GCC area. There is no problem. There is merely and mainly a sort of what the companies would actually focus on. Maybe they are focusing more on the USA market. That would be their decision. Okay, but if they focus on the GCC area, they could do it. They could enter. Products are brilliant, are very good. Quality is excellent. Tastes, I don't have to say anything about the taste. You know that already. So there's no problem there. Now, regarding the meat, I've been going through the details of the meat imports and where the meat comes from, right? And you can see that most of the meat comes from very poor areas of the world and sub-Saharan Africa as well, right? So it means that most of this meat is really cheap. But as I said, this is always the case. There are, in every sector, there are many products that are very cheap, and there are products that are aimed at a higher quality. Now, in this part, the high quality part, I can tell you that the Greek meat would have a good opportunity in the area for the good restaurants, for the hotels, and even for people that they would like to buy for the home something that tastes better, because Greek meat tastes better, right? And not only Greek meat, but meat in general from this area, from the Balkan area. It's a mountainous area. Many of the animals they eat the grass from they are on the mountains. They are mountainary, even the species. So in both cases, yeah, I see there is a big opportunity if someone would really try to go for it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your contributions. Now we will go with Mr. El Tawab. Let's talk a bit about the halal certification, the halal regulation. So first of all, I would like to start asking Mr. El Tawab if he has detected an increasing interest in the halal market or certification. So if you already see or if you perceive that there is increasing interest in this market.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you, brother, for this kind invitation. I'm Mohammed Abdul Tawab. I'm the Certification and the Quality Manager of Greece. What to say? Actually, it was a big honor for us to get the accreditation as a first Greek company, and it was like our dream. Since 2017, we started this idea, and we finally get the accreditation after establishing founding our company Haq Greece in 2020. We got the accreditation in 2021. The idea was because actually my background, I am a veterinarian, and I came for Greece for postdoctoral research. So, you know, when I found this high quality meat, our idea is to start exporting this meat to the Gulf area. But with further checking, we found that the company that certified the slaughterhouses or the meat process or the meat producers, meat processing units, it should be accredited. So from here, we got the idea to have an accredited company. So after 2 years from the accreditation, we have a very good interest. I can tell you that our improving is like 50% per year regarding the number of the company that is certified by us. There is a very good point to tell you here that what I'm feeling from the Greek industries is they are very respectable. This is something I appreciate it very much in the Greek market, that the companies are very respectable, so, and they're responsible. So when we say that there is, when they decide to have a business and they get to us, I mean, to get going in the procedure of the certification, they follow very well the standard, they follow very well the regulation. There is from their, from their culture or knowledge is to be respecting their business. So I can tell you, we have a very, very good opportunity, especially in our area in Central Macedonia. We have many requests. We are improving. Last year, it was the first year for us to be an exhibitor in Gulf food. We get a very good success. That's why for the second year, we are also be exhibitor in 2 weeks. We'll be in Dubai. Hopefully we have the opportunity to meet you all there. So I can tell you that the Greek market is ready, especially in the sectors that meat processed and the other food sectors.
Happy to hear that. Most welcome. Happy to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Regarding the Greek Halal certified companies by your Halal certification body, we would like to know more about the companies and try to see which ones are exporting. We are already exporting their F&B products to the UAE, or which are the best selling F&B products here or in the region.
Actually, all. But recently, the very big interest is the meat, because we found from last visit in the last year in the Gulf food that there is a very big demand for meat, especially from the area, especially with a very good quality in the area. So we have met a lot of importers, many with a very big orders that they are interested in the Greek meat. And actually, some of them already have a contact when we were there and starting the business. So in the meat in general, it's going very good. Also for the other sectors like pies, like olives, like all this is also going, develop.
That's great. It's good also to see.
Sorry for also the dairy. Dairy is very, very important, especially with the Greek feta, which has a very well known, and it has a very good reputation. Is also has a very good improvement.
That's great. Happy to see that out of the meat space, you also have some other Halal certified products, and they are already being exported to the UAE as well as to other Muslim countries in this part of the world. Now,
if I may add something.
Yeah, please, Mr. Basaras, go ahead.
We are in the beginning of that. We are in the not 0.0, but 0.5, let's say. As you saw from the exports, only 1.06 of the exports of the Central Macedonia actually go to UAE in all different sectors. So, and the reason is because the Greek companies, they did not put it yet in their priority. That's the only reason. When they do, you will see it will boom. It's just a mere issue of prioritizing. They are prioritizing other areas of the world. and where they are succeeding very nicely. Okay,
Yes.
when they will prioritize UAE, and this is what we are actually now here for, to tell them that they should also prioritize the area, then they would succeed, and you will see those figures going up.
For sure.
Of course,
Yeah,
if I may intervene, of course, it is very important to create a basic network, and that is the reason we are doing this webinar today, to encourage Greek businesses to get the interest for exporting in United Arab Emirates, and also to create, to be participant in a network of facilities, including the Dubai Airport Free Zone, including Halal Trade and Marketing Center, including Greek exports, etc. In all this, from all these institutions, Greek companies can obtain the necessary information and can ask for assistance and for support. And that is the duty of the chamber, to encourage Greek businesses in the members of the chamber, or the Greek business in Central Macedonia, to benefit from this network, to be part of the network and to benefit. Thank you for allowing this small intervention.
most welcome. Indeed, that's the idea behind this event. Our cooperation is looking for helping the companies there to be ready to do business in the UAE and beyond. So yeah, that's the point. And also, for that reason, today we invite Mr. Arar from Arar Trading. Today we have the privilege to have with us Mr. Mohamed Arar from Arar Trading. Arar Trading is a key importer and distributor of F&B products in the UAE. And today we have Mr. Arar with us. So let's now go with him. I would like to start asking him about the F&B categories where he see a real opportunity for Greek F&B products here in the UAE. Based on your experience, vast experience in the UAE working with F&B products, where do you see, or did you see a real opportunity for Greek F&B products?
Okay. For UAE, like why is UAE? As you may know, like we are here in the UAE, we have almost 180 nationalities. So you have the whole world in one place, you can say. So you can, like, if you can get the people trust new products, that means you have the opportunity to go even beyond the UAE border. These people here are ambassadors to their country. So if you, as I told you, if you can get their trust in the products, so they have, like, they can sell easily more in their homeland country. So as mentioned before, the network is essential. And here it's like, you can see it's not small country and not big country. So it's easy to control the market with like almost more than 6 to 7 hypermarkets here and hundreds of mini markets. Also, like, have diversity of cuisines. So we have the opportunity to convince these people with products, F&B. Plus, if they have this mark, that halal mark, that people will be more more convinced when they are buying, especially Muslim people, when they are buying the Greek product, they feel more comfortable, more like trust with this product. As I mentioned to you, the market is big and diverse. So, and also like willing to accept new product. So always you have to find something more like advantage to other product, because UAE in general is like an open market. So everybody can bring the cargo or their items with like easy law and clear law and easy to apply the law. As it's mentioned before, like you have to do something about your product. It's like labeling, certificates. All this is like you can get it easily. You just go to the, like for Dubai, the health authorities is represented by municipality. Whatever you have to know is mentioned there in their website. So it's not like nothing hidden. It's all is clear. All what you have to do is to apply this terms and conditions to your own product. And then with like smart, as you can say, selling plan, you can go and you can have the trust of the people. Because our people here trust the system. So when they go to the supermarket or the restaurant, they are trusted that the item there is like compliant to the system. So nothing is not good for their health. They have the trust. So here, like if you can get the trust of the system by like apply to the condition and terms, you have a great opportunity. And as I told you, the opportunity is not only to the UAE market. It's beyond the UAE with like facilities with the well-connected country. So you can go beyond the UAE. First, like have to take their trust. And then like you have big opportunity. And you have like many stories about this one. Especially like there was a product with this pedestrian ready to make. It's coming from Greece. It was the first step. They sell the, I think, cooperative. Then they start to move on and on and on. So as it's mentioned before, the popularity here, most of them are youth, like between 25 to 25 to 54 years old. So this kind of people are like, they like to try something new, always try to like something new. So this is like your chance. People with higher salary, with high purchasing power, and like to know or try the new things. So the opportunity is there. All what you have to do, as I mentioned, to comply with the terms and conditions and get certificates, and you have a chance, a good chance.
That's great to know. Let me ask you if you are thinking about halal trading as a, let's say, potential buyer for Greek products. Are you already importing Greek F&B products? And if yes, please let us know the references as well as maybe the reasons behind why you choose Greek products, or why are you importing this or that Greek F&B items?
Yeah, well, actually, as like around trading, we start doing business with the Greece since like you can say 1978 or before. The first product we bought from them was the tomato paste. Imagine, tomato paste was like something new here. But the point is the quality of that one. The quality was like second to none. Like, you know, as you may know, like in summertime, temperatures go beyond like 40 plus, sometimes 50. Even with this high temperature, the product keep its characteristics and not get damaged even with the higher temperature. So people again trusted this product. That's why like they just go and buy it without any like hesitation. They trust the made in Greece and that brand, and that's it. And the demand was huge. Like we used to bring around 120 container monthly, yearly, 120 container. That means each month, 10 container. And then like afterward, like people start to go after this kind of product and the quality. Then we have like feta, we have olive, we have olive oil, many items from Greece, because Greece item has own character and it's well known. Like Kalamata olive is only from Greece, feta cheese only from Greece. So here if you can like for feta, as they mentioned before, and that is in general, if you have like the halal certificate, so people have more trust. So the demand will grow sharply, I think. Plus we have like masticha from Greece. It's also a unique product. So Greece have many unique products. The step is, I think, now is to have certificate that make people feel trust with this and I think they have big opportunity. Yeah.
Perfect. It's great to know that you already have, you are already working with many Greek F&B products. Now, because we are almost finalizing the session, we will be going with Mr. Vasilikos. We will be going with the success case of Condito. And I would like to ask to Mr. Vasilikos, first of all, what has the Halal certification mean for your company?
Well, our company has Halal certified products since 2018, following our attempts to expand our business in Middle East. Soon enough, we tried to apply the Halal certification to almost all the range of our products, willing and aiming to enter to the markets that the Halal certificate is needed. So moving to that direction, we managed to open a whole new market and grow our presence in the region of Middle East and more specific in UAE.
Perfect. And how has been your journey in the Halal market till today?
Well, having the Halal certificate for our products gives us a very strong advantage in order to claim our position in the market. We achieved many new collaborations with partners that we couldn't approach before due to the lack of Halal certificate. And definitely this certificate was a great asset for us, for our portfolio, to help us establish in the market.
Great. And finally, what advice would you make to the Greek F&B companies thinking about the UAE Halal market or the Halal market here in the region?
Excuse me, could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, what advice would you make to the Greek F&B companies thinking about the UAE Halal market or the GCC market, based on your experience?
Well, that helped us a lot in order to, as I said, to be established in the market in the whole region of Middle East. So this is something that for a company that has ambitions to expand their business and export in more markets, this is something that it is absolutely necessary for its company.
Indeed, it is. And well, let us know, by the way, if we can find or not your products. Are they available in the UAE market?
Actually, yes, there are. Right now, our products and especially our sauces and dressings are available in Lulu supermarkets in UAE. This is a new collaboration that we built the last month, and we try to expand our presence there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very
for
welcome.
answers. We are out of the time. We have to finalize this amazing panel discussion. I would like to thank all of you for being here today with us, learning a bit more about the challenges and opportunities in the halal market. We will be coming with new activities, new initiatives in the future. In May, we will be celebrating a B2B program for connecting Greek producers with relevant importers, distributors, and retailers here in the UAE. So we will be keeping you updated about our future activities from the business matching point of view. Well, that's all from our side for today. I wish you a good day to all of you. Let's keep in touch and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's meet in Gulf Food in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
See you in Dubai.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Inshallah, bye-bye.